Hi, my name is Tammy, and this is Health Evolution. I am currently a nutrition student getting my master's in nutrition education and human performance. I hope to help even just one person get healthier. So today I'd like to talk about calories. So calories are something that people like to talk about a lot for weight loss. I'm not a weight loss expert. I think that if you eat healthful, natural, whole foods, you don't need to worry about anything else. Your weight will stabilize. But for right now, let's talk about some of the most common mainstream myths about calories. And first is the 3,500 calories per pound myth, right? Everyone knows that if you cut your calories every 3,500 calories, you will have lost a pound of fat. Everyone knows that, only it doesn't work. And it makes us all feel like we're failures, right? I cut my calories by 700 calories per day, and I'm losing maybe 1 pound a week. That makes no sense. So if you cut your calories by 700 calories per day, that should be 4,900 calories down per week, right? So it should be over a pound. But what really happens is that in the first few weeks, you probably lose more than that, right? And then after a while, you stop losing, even though you've cut the same amount of calories. And so why is it that calories can be so variable, even though you're strict? You count every single calorie, right? Well, there's a researcher in Wales. Her name is Zoe Harcum. She's a PhD in public health nutrition, and she has been asking this question. She researches it. She's got books out. She's asked just about every authority around the world where the 3,500 calorie myth came from and how they came to this conclusion, right? And so very easily people can say, well, there's 9 grams of fat per gram. 9 calories per gram of fat. And so if you multiply that out by a pound of fat, you're going to get 3,500 calories approximately. But that's not actually true. First of all, a pound of fat in a human body isn't just 100% pure fat. There's water, there's other tissues, right? And besides that, even if you account for all that and give a little bit here and there, if you try to find a study where people cut exactly the right amount to lose 1 pound a week, and they do this study for a year, right? So then you should lose 52 pounds in that year. If the calculation's correct, it should work for anybody, male, female, adult, child, doesn't matter. 52 pounds a year, but it doesn't happen. And there's usually nobody in the study that even comes close. Instead, a lot of people lose a lot less. Most people lose hardly any. So even if you were to take into account, well, let's make everybody the same. All females, all 5 feet, all 100 pounds or whatever. Let's give them all exactly the same amount of calories. So the change should be exactly the same for each one of them. And still you will fail. Still it would be not the same. People will not gain the same. People will not lose the same. And whenever Zoe talked to the dietitians in obesity management in the UK, they wrote back to her and said, I guess a key to all of this is that weight loss doesn't appear to be linear any more than weight gain is. So if that's true, how can we assume that this 3,500 calories per pound is even close to being accurate, right? Plus, there's people that fast. And there's people that fast for a really long time, for religious reasons, for health reasons, whatever it is. There was a guy that was 456 pounds, and he decided to fast to lose weight and to get healthier, right? So he had a team of doctors that ran a study on him, basically, and he fasted 100% calorie deficit. All he had were some minerals, because he had somewhere in there around day 100, he had some blood sugar issues, I think, and they increased his potassium or something. So it was just minerals and water, no calories at all. And those problems were short-lived. His body equalized. And so he went from 456 to 180 in 382 days. So over a year of no calories, right? And if the average guy is supposed to have about 2,600 calories per day, right? And he was at 100% calorie deficit for 382 days. If you use that little equation for 3,500 calories per pound of fat only, but per pound, he should have lost 514 pounds of fat, but he didn't even weigh 514 pounds, right? So he couldn't have lost that much. But he should have died. He should have wasted away to nothing and died, right? But he didn't. And he stabilized at 180, which is thin, but is not emaciated. He looked pretty healthy. I mean, he looked like a different person. And he looked thin. He had, jawline and everything back, but he didn't look emaciated. He just looked good. And at the 5-year point after that, he was still within 10 pounds of that 180 pounds. So it was sustainable over the long run. And so if the 3,500 calorie theory was true, he should have wasted away to nothing. Also, I mean, if you think about it, how many of us are exactly counting our calories? How many of us know exactly how many calories we should have per day to maintain? And then staying within that range or that exact number every day. And if the estimate is wrong, even by 100 calories, you're going to be gaining a lot of weight, right? I remember Gary Taubes' comment that if you estimate wrong by even a bite of an apple, it's like 5 pounds a year. It just shows to me that there is no way that calories in and calories out is in any way accurate, right? If it was, it would be one, predictable. So even if people say, well, it's because we're different sizes. Well, people that are of the same size and the same gender even, let's say, should be exactly the same amount and we gain or lose at exactly the same rate. But that doesn't happen, right? And 2, these studies would be at least even close to being right. And all of them are wrong. Find one. Find a study that got it very close. It's not going to be based on calories, right? So the 3,500 calorie idea is kind of busted, right? So then people go to the laws of thermodynamics, right? So let me read the exact right laws, right? The idea that this is from a study in 2004, so it's not very new. And these people said the idea that a calorie is a calorie comes from a misunderstanding of the laws of thermodynamics. There are 2 laws of thermodynamics. The 0th law and the 3rd law that describes absolute zero are not relevant here, right? When speaking of the laws of thermodynamics, it is important to be sure that one is including the 2nd law. The 1st law is very different in character from the 2nd law, right? The 1st law is a conservation law. It says that the form of energy may change, but the total is always conserved. Law of thermodynamics. 1st law of thermodynamics. 2nd law is a dissipation law, right? It defines a quantity, the entropy, which we traditionally identify with disorder or high probability. The 2nd law says that in any real, irreversible process, the entropy must increase. Balance is not expected. Entropy is, in fact, identifiable with irreversibility. So that's the 2nd law of thermodynamics. Whenever we say that if you argue that a calorie is not just a calorie, you're breaking the laws of thermodynamics, and it's just not true, because I think that technically we are asking the wrong question. It's not calories that we need to worry about at all, right? In that same study, they said the 2nd law of thermodynamics says the variation or efficiency of different metabolic pathways is to be expected. Thus, ironically, the dictum that a calorie is a calorie violates the 2nd law of thermodynamics as a matter of principle. So, I mean, we can get into science and all that talk, but the idea that we are a closed loop system, which is what thermodynamics is based on, is incorrect. We're not a closed loop system. And there are so many other factors that affect how we utilize the calories that we eat, the food that we eat, right? There's a researcher, David Gillespie, and he says, eating is the way we put on weight. It isn't the reason we put on weight, right? So his example is like a car when it accelerates. You need gas in order to accelerate, but it's not the gas that's making you accelerate. It's the gas pedal. Pushing the gas pedal makes you accelerate. Without the gas, you wouldn't be able to do it, but the gas itself is not causing it. Get it? So food is the same way. So whenever you eat food, it's the requirement to be able to gain weight, but it's not the thing driving the weight gain, right? Instead, there's a lot more going on than just calories. There's hormones. Hormones are a big factor in how we gain weight or how we lose weight. I mean, children grow quite a lot when they're kids. They eat a lot and they grow a lot. Is it the food that's making them grow? Or are they eating because their body wants to grow? And so they need the fuel, right? Pregnancy, menopause. I mean, all of these times our hormones are fluctuating and our weight is changing. Is it the food or is it the hormones causing that? And also a big reason why sometimes we eat when we're not hungry is mineral deficiencies, which I started to talk about last week. I'm going to put a video together solely on that topic. But the fact that we are craving things is because we aren't satisfying what our body actually needs. And so we keep eating and we have too much fuel, but still not enough nutrients, right? The bottom line here is that it is not calories that we need to worry about whenever we talk about our nutrition and our food. It's much more complicated than that. You know, it's all the hormones and the vitamin and mineral status and the age and all of these things combined. Every person is very unique, right? And so, in my opinion, we just need to focus on nutrition, whole foods, eat as much nutrition as you can, supplement with what you aren't getting, and health will follow. At least that's my goal. Thanks for listening today, and we will talk again next week. I'm not sure the topic yet. If you guys want to have some suggestions, put it in the comments below.